Football is a game of two halves, but in 2018 when Juventus spent €112 million on a certain 33-year-old striker by the name of Cristiano, it was a game of two wholes, because the signing doubled Juventus' share price in just a few days. But why spend that much money on a striker undoubtedly in his twilight years? Could it be that with Ronaldo's 264 million Instagram followers, this was more about what happened off the pitch than on it? And with rumours of a closed European Super League rife, could publicly traded football clubs finally become exciting investment opportunities? Let's kick off. So, here's the insight. The fall of traditional revenue streams from broadcasting rights could be the catalyst for publicly traded football clubs to start behaving more like global brands than domestic football teams. But what's the difference? And what's the emerging tech that could flip football's fortunes? Time to break it down. Let's take a glance at some of football's recent business. Hollywood actors Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney buy Wrexham. Wolverhampton Wanderers send coaches to the Far East in the hope of bringing the next generation of Chinese superstars to the West Midlands. Liverpool are rumoured to float on the stock market with a baseball team. Manchester City's owners sell a 10% stake in City Football Group for $500 million to a private equity house. So, either private equity firms and American business tycoons have suddenly unearthed a passion for the beautiful game, or maybe it's the same reason Juventus spent €112 million on a 33-year-old striker. Brand building, and ultimately, money. But why now? Traditionally, an investment in a club like Manchester United has been about as reliable as a VAR offside decision. So what's changed? Well, it's all about data. Man United are said to have anywhere between 600 million and a whopping 1.1 billion fans worldwide, according to which source you cite. The truth is, they just don't really know. The only people that might know are Google and Facebook, who seem reticent to help and continue to charge clubs to advertise to their own fans. But there might be a light at the end of the tunnel as global regulators continue to scrutinise big tech's data monopoly, helping the world's leading sports franchises to gain access to their own data, and therefore their own fans. And what if we stopped thinking about those people as fans and started thinking about them as customers, who the clubs could sell a whole new suite of products to? Let's detour on that for a moment. At the end of the fourth quarter of 2020, visual search engine Pinterest had over 459 million users. Market cap? $52.82 billion. Video sharing platform TikTok had 689 million users and an estimated valuation of over $100 billion. Now look at Man United, potentially bigger than them both with a somewhat questionable 1.1 billion fans or users and a market cap of $2.65 billion. So why the disparity? Well, it's quite simple really. Pinterest and TikTok know who their customers are and can sell to them, and that's the key. But how do football clubs gather data on their global fan base? Emerging tech, of course. It's being adopted faster than a PSG counterattack and creating huge opportunities for clubs to immerse fans globally via customised experiences. What if you could watch a Manchester United game from Beijing, but be in the dugout at Old Trafford, surrounded by 76,000 people via Facebook's new Oculus Quest 2 headset? Now there's a theatre of dreams. And the clubs are getting smarter with how they're gathering data. Apps, AI, AR, VR, Real Madrid are even developing their own smartphone keyboard to gather more insightful data on their fan base. So, slowly but surely we're seeing clubs try to win possession of their data from big tech and start selling to customers. But here's where it gets really interesting. A place where players never get injured, stadiums have infinite capacity, and you can hold a World Cup twice a week. Esports. The esports industry is presenting football clubs with an opportunity to duplicate all of their revenue streams in the real world in the e-world. Sponsorship deals, advertising, media rights for broadcasts, ticket sales for live events, and publishing fees. So, football clubs might begin to capitalise more on the power of games like FIFA and Pro Evo. Burger King's campaign to convince FIFA 20 players to adopt League Two side Stevenage United went viral and gave players the opportunity to post goals on social media in exchange for burgers. Subsequently, Stevenage sold out of shirts that season, with BK's sponsorship opening the door to a global audience. The esports industry hit almost $1 billion in revenue in 2020, reaching almost 500 million viewers, accelerated by the global pandemic. Then, there's a whole new world of emerging opportunity in the women's game, which is becoming big business in its own right, attracting global TV audiences and increasingly large corporate sponsors. So, we've built our brand, identified our customers via data, marketed to them, and doubled down on esports and the women's game. And suddenly, our $2 billion publicly traded football club is starting to look a lot more like a Pinterest or a TikTok, gathering data and monetizing it. And let's not forget, a football fan is cradle to grave and unlikely to change their allegiance, unlike TikTok users. So, what is the investment edge? Well, with the decline of broadcasting rights forcing owners to seek new emerging revenue streams, publicly traded football clubs will have to reinvent themselves for a global digital market, giving investors the chance to stick a few quid in the back of the net. Of course, in football, there'd be no winners without losers, so let's take a look at the flip side. Historically, publicly traded sports teams have struggled to control their costs and rarely outperform the market, finding it difficult to strike a balance between big business and big results. In addition, fans are constantly calling for more emphasis on what's happening on the pitch than off it. And they've got a point, because when a publicly traded team performs badly on the pitch, their share price also takes a hit. Juventus' share price dropped 22% after their 2019 Champions League exit. Also, clubs are usually controlled by powerful owners, so there's not much protection for independent shareholders. Lastly, the brewing dispute over TV rights at a domestic and European level could fragment the game's major leagues, especially as conversations about a European Super League intensify. But when the final whistle blows, with big business looking for results on and off the pitch, plus regulators keen to break big tech's data monopoly, enabling clubs to more easily gather data on their global fan base, plus emerging technology providing clubs with new, innovative paths to monetization, plus an insatiable appetite for original football content, plus a rapidly growing esports industry presenting clubs with the opportunity to double down on marketing, merchandising, and advertising strategies, plus fast emerging NFTs as a way to monetize sports content, equals an opportunity for investors to score big on publicly traded football clubs. Love your club, buy the shares.